All right, ladies and gentlemen, so I've been trying to write this Altissimo book for a long time, but now I've had a lot of time, so I've made a phenomenal amount of progress. So a lot of videos that I'm going to do that's going to come up is going to be going back into a lot of Altissimo stuff. So today's video is going to focus on something that I talked about a little bit in one of my other videos, but it really is a very important focal point and what I'm trying to get you guys to understand about playing Altissimo on a tenor saxophone. And this is going to deal with gearing. So, in short, gears make difficult work easy. Now, I'm not going to get too technical about this, but in general, you have work or energy and time. So if you can spread out the amount of energy that you have over a period of time, you don't have to dump all this energy into a system all at once. So that's basically the short and skinny of how gears, levers, pulleys, all this stuff works. Just like if you have an automobile with a flat tire, you need to use a jack. It's basically just allowing you to be able to spread the work out over time. Or even your steering wheel, for that matter. If you're older guy like myself, you probably drove cars from the 1970s that had a gearing mechanism in them that made them the butt of all European jokes when it comes to American cars, because you could essentially just steer the thing with one hand. The handling was terrible. Ha ha ha. We just got to give them that one. Okay, but for today's lesson, we're going to focus on a gearing system for the saxophone. Now, one is already built in, and we've become so fantastically dependent upon this gearing system that we never really learned to play overtones properly. And that gearing system is the octave key. It is essentially doing all the heavy lifting for us. It's a type of gearing mechanism. So you can think about low B flat to open C sharp as being first gear. We press the octave key. We play middle D to G sharp. And then if you notice on your saxophone, there's another mechanism when you switch from G sharp to A natural. On the original saxophones, there were two octave mechanisms that were there. But when you switch from G sharp to A, then your neck pipe opens and you switch to another gear, allowing you to be able to play these high notes, the upper notes on the saxophone easily, because this gearing system is essentially doing the heavy lifting, the work for us. Now, I want to show you a fingering that functions like a new gearing system. And this fingering is split F. I talked about this as magic Altissimo fingering number 2, but I'm going to describe it in a type of gearing system kind of way. So you can imagine being on a bicycle and you have your easy gear that you can use to get started, just to move your body weight or to go up hills. And then you have like a harder gear once you get going, once you're moving, and then you can go faster by switching into these gears. Now, this split F fingering, split in the terminology that I've created, simply means the fingering, but the two finger is up. So with middle F, split F means F, but you lift the two finger. I'll show you that very shortly. So the split F fingering functions like a whole new set of gears that we can apply to playing overtones easily. The beauty of it is when we use this gearing system, we can play the notes within that range using the same type of embouchure airspeed until we switch gears or play the next overtone of that fingering. And then we can play through that range, and then we switch gears again, and then we can play through that range, keeping our embouchure and our airspeed virtually the same. This gearing system allows us to be able to manipulate our embouchure and our airspeed in a very linear way, in the same way that we played the lower part of the horn, in the same way that we increase our airspeed and tighten our embouchure in the lower part. We can use this fingering, and we can apply that same thing to the Altissimo. Okay, let's get to it. I'm going to show you 5 overtones, but we're only going to focus on 3. 5 is way too many anyway, and in my book, I only really ever focus on 4 overtones for all the Altissimo that you need to do. And yes, you can develop a 4-octave range on this instrument by only really practicing 4 overtones. Okay, so with this fingering, split F, we got the first overtone, which is this really out of tune and weird middle B flat. See how it sounds weird and stuffy? Then above that, we're going to play our F sharp, like you would if you had the palm keys with the high F sharp key. All we really want to focus on are 3, which is F sharp, C, and then the F that's above that. So it should sound like this. Okay, so before we get too far into this, I want to tell you right now, there are notes in between those intervals. We do not want to focus on those. We want to focus on the F sharp, the Altissimo C, and the Altissimo F that is above that. All right, so that puts our embouchure and our airspeed in the right place in order for us to get through this very simply. Okay, let's continue. When I play the F sharp using that fingering, I can think about using that embouchure airspeed set in order to play the notes between F sharp and the next overtone, which is a C. So that's F sharp all the way up to B natural. So I call that first Altissimo gear using the split F fingering, or the split F gearing system. So I don't have to make all these radical changes to my embouchure every time I switch notes. I can just focus on playing this overtone exercise. So from Altissimo C to Altissimo E, I can use the next gear. And then from F all the way up, technically up to the next overtone, which will be a B flat, but we're not going to focus on that right now. And let's focus on it right now. So we have our Altissimo F. I don't really like to focus on this one because I just have a much better fingering for B flat, for that double Altissimo B flat. So I pretty much keep it right up to that F and the notes until we get to that B flat. But at any rate, okay, ladies and gentlemen, so I just want to recap, and I want to stress something that's very important. So with the split F fingering, I'm obviously using other fingerings to play the notes chromatically between the split F overtones. But split F functions like a type of embouchure memorization system. So with split F in first gear, we learn that, and then we can play the notes within that range. We switch gears again to the next overtone, and we play the notes within that range. We switch gears again, and we play the notes within that range. So that highest B flat that I hit, that's 4 octaves above low B flat. So with this one fingering, that's 4 octaves right there. So I tried to weave that in as best I could. Now, you could even make an argument, if you had like a huge ego, that it's a 6 octave spread. If we treat the low B flat like it is the highest note of the lowest octave, then the new octave starts on a low B natural. So that's a low B flat, that's 1. Low B natural is 2. Totally cheating. Totally cheating. All right, so low B natural to middle B natural is 2. Middle B natural to high B natural is 3. High B natural to Altissimo B natural is 4. Altissimo B natural to double Altissimo B natural is 5. And then above double Altissimo B natural, which would be an Altissimo C. I didn't play it here, but I have it. Now we're looking at a 6-octave spread, all from learning one fingering. This magic Altissimo fingering number 2, or what I call split F, gets us a range like that by playing 4 overtones, basically 5 technically, but 4 overtones. So it's nice to be able to just simplify this thing in such a way that we can cover such a fantastic range on this instrument. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so that's all I got for you. Stay tuned for the next stuff that I got coming. Peace.